Up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Superman, arguably the greatest superhero of all time. Today, I want to talk about the Adventures of Superman TV series from the 1950s, the one starring George Reeves. With all of the CGI technology available today, the one thing they just can't duplicate is heart. And the cast of this show had plenty of heart. Today, I want to take a look at what many fans consider the greatest half hour of classic superhero TV ever produced. It's an episode titled Panic in the Sky, and it wasn't just a great episode. It was the greatest episode of the series in a time when special effects budgets were non-existent. Now, if you like classic movies, TV, and nostalgia, you're going to love it here at RerunZone. So like, share, subscribe, and become a channel member. Now, let's get into it. Fantasy, sci-fi, horror, RerunZone. I saw this show in repeats on Saturdays in the 1960s, and man, did I love it. It was the show that got me into reading comic books, and it stimulated my fascination with superheroes. For you comic book fans out there, my very first comic book was Superman Annual number 1 in 1960. And no, I sadly don't have it anymore. Anyway, in 1953, the Adventures of Superman TV show was mostly a show about Superman outsmarting bank robbers and stopping runaway trains. It was formulaic. It was safe. It was, to be honest, a little underwhelming. The first 2 seasons were in black and white, with Season 1 featuring Phyllis Coates as Lois Lane, and Season 2, Noelle Neal, stepping in to play Lois. Later, Coates said she really didn't like how the show was written at the time, especially that Lois was made to seem too clueless to realize that Clark was Superman. That was a big reason she didn't come back for Season 2. The first 2 seasons were gritty, and they had a film noir feel, where Superman is seen as a somewhat mysterious figure, unknown by many crooks. These seasons were action-packed, and the storylines were violent, with many of the gangsters getting killed on screen. Producers wanted to start leaning into bigger, more science fiction style stories though, so early in the second season, they filmed the episode Panic in the Sky, and they held it till mid-season because they felt the episode was strong, and it would play better if it aired as a special mid-season high point. They were right. When it came time to film Panic in the Sky, the special effects team faced a real challenge though. Suddenly, the stakes were higher, with the threat of planetary extinction. This was a sci-fi epic crammed into 25 minutes of television. The special effects pushed the shoestring budget to its breaking point, with a plot that stripped Superman of his memory, and a secret identity reveal that, well, let's just say, it required the Daily Planet staff to be pretty much legally blind. Up until this point, the Adventures of Superman followed a grounded, almost noir formula. Superman spent his time catching counterfeiters or rescuing Lois. His biggest threat was usually kryptonite or a stubborn safe door. But Panic in the Sky was different. Suddenly, the antagonist isn't a guy in a fedora with a snub-nosed revolver. It's a mindless, massive asteroid on a collision course with Metropolis. This was the show's first real pivot into high-stakes science fiction. For a 1953 audience, this was a Cold War-era anxiety nightmare. If Superman fails, it isn't just a robbery. There isn't a Metropolis left to rob. The writers also took away the one thing that makes Superman Superman. After the collision, he returns to Earth with total amnesia. We're watching a man with the power to level a mountain, but he has no idea who he is or how to use that power safely. While the world looks on at the sky in terror, the only person who can save them is wandering his living room wondering why he's wearing a cape under his business suit. Earth is on a countdown to extinction, and Superman is on a countdown to find his own soul. Panic in the Sky was filmed on a relentless 2 episodes per week schedule. This forced the production team to get creative and occasionally sloppy in order to meet their deadlines. Because the new series had a tiny budget, they couldn't afford a new flying sequence for the asteroid approach. Instead, the production team went back to 1941. They pulled specific animation frames from the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons, specifically the episode The Magnetic Telescope, and they rotoscoped them to guide the live-action composite. It's why the movement in this episode feels unique compared to the rest of the series. The episode is also famous for George Reeves' wardrobe malfunction. To keep his physique looking super without the suit bunching up, Reeves wore a custom sleeveless dress shirt under the spandex. In the scene where Clark frantically unbuttons his shirt to reveal the S emblem, the lack of sleeves is clearly visible. The audio track reveals the reality of 1950s TV production as well. During the climatic scenes on the asteroid, you can actually hear birds chirping in the background. The asteroid was actually a set built on an outdoor lot at RKO Path Studios, and the local California wildlife didn't realize they were supposed to be in the vacuum of space.
Well, no matter who I am, here goes.
Finally, there's the legendary springboard. To achieve Superman's takeoffs, Reeves would jump off a hidden diving board just off camera. But in this episode, the jumps are particularly aggressive, and if you watch the shot of him landing, you can actually hear the distinct thud of his boots hitting hollow plywood. That was the studio's quick fix for a concrete sidewalk. The most debated moment in Panic in the Sky happens in Clark Kent's bedroom. Because of his amnesia, Clark is lying in bed without his glasses on, his only real disguise. Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Perry White are standing inches away from him, staring directly at his face. But they never realize that he's Superman. In later years, actors Jack Larson and Noel Neill admitted the absurdity of the scene. They claimed they played it with willful ignorance because if their characters actually recognized Clark, the show would be over and the cast would be out of work. It's a moment that requires the audience to just enjoy the charm of a show that didn't take its internal logic too seriously.
Great Caesar's ghost.
Despite the chirping birds and the plywood sidewalks, Panic in the Sky is still the definitive episode of the George Reeves era. It proved that the character could handle cosmic stakes as well as the common crooks. It's a testament to what 1950s television could achieve with a little bit of repurposed animation, a hidden springboard, and a leading man who could sell an identity crisis even in a sleeveless shirt. Now, if you like classic TV, movies, and nostalgia, I think you're going to love it here at RerunZone. So like, share, and subscribe, and become a channel member. This is Rich from RerunZone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and have a good night.